I don't know. Are there any really, really awful sounding speakers made anymore? I'm talking about speakers made in the present and speakers that have any kind of quality aspirations, not even audiophile aspirations. Just a decent speaker, not a $10 plastic Bluetooth speaker, but a real speaker for $50. Are they really terrible ones? I really don't think so. And I've heard a lot of speakers. I listen to speakers all the time. And they do different things. They sound different. Some are bright and some are dull and some make a lot of bass and some don't make any bass and some are a little boxy. But they're all listenable. It won't burn holes in your eardrums bad, Even soundbar speakers, God, they used to be really awful. But now, like a $200 soundbar sounds pretty decent. Would it be my taste, but I want to live with one? No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying when I was reviewing soundbars in 2019 for CNET, they were decent. They were actually decent, especially for their purpose of playing movies and TV stuff. Not so much for music, but for their intended application, a $200 soundbar, and even some for less than $200, they sounded okay. They did the job. But for music speakers, for stereo speakers, I think they're actually gotten to the point that most of them are pretty decent. So, I don't know. What do you think? Have you heard any speakers lately? Don't give me examples from 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Let's stick to sort of the present that really suck. That just sound like they were made by somebody who had no idea what they were doing. Really sucked out mid-range or totally bloated out of control bass or sizzling highs that just hurt at any volume level. No, that's a beautiful thing. So people out there who don't give a crap about the Audiophiliac Daily Show or audiophile anything, they're listening to pretty decent speakers, I'd even say Sonos Play 1, wouldn't be the top of my list or anything, but even the least expensive Sonos speakers sound perfectly acceptable. But my taste in music, my taste in speakers, which I think is well known by people who watch this channel, I like speakers that have some dynamics. I like speakers that lean towards transparent, that are fun speakers, that are party speakers, that have a good mid-range, that let voices sound like voices, speakers that image well, speakers that image large, that can really fill a room with sound and a deep sound stage. I've made it my business to own speakers that are sort of opposites of each other from time to time. Like when I lived for long term with Magnepans and Zoo. Now, Magnepans are not dynamic speakers. They're not particularly party speakers, but they're very refined, open sounding speakers. They're very low in distortion, and that big, spacious sound was hugely appealing to me. But they didn't boogie, which is why I had Zoo speakers. Zoo speakers were the opposite. They were extremely dynamic. They could boogie, they could party, they were fun speakers. They just weren't as refined or as open sounding as the Maggies. And I've lived with Klipschas for their dynamics, and I've lived with TAD speakers for their refinement and ability to just disappear. So I've tried over the years to have a lot of experiences with lots of different kinds of speakers, electrostatic, open baffle, you name it. I've covered them all here. Omnidirectional, the Ohm Walsh 2000s I reviewed last year that don't sound like any other speaker really, the way they just project sound more or less 360 degrees. I love them all. I really do, for different reasons. And I present these reviews to show you what's out there. What are the possibilities of different kinds of speakers at pretty much all price ranges, like the $229 Emotiva B1 Plus that I recently reviewed and I will link to below. That's a killer speaker for $229 a pair. Really, really good. Really good. So I review them at all prices. The Pure Audio Project open baffle speakers are $10,000 a pair. I review $229 speakers, $10,000 a pair of speakers. I'll be doing some extremely expensive Wilson speakers coming up. All kinds of prices, and they all do different things, and they all have different buyers in mind for the people who make and sell those speakers. But today, it just hit me. I was just thinking, are there any really dreadful speakers made anymore? And I don't think so. But I don't hear everything, so I want you guys to tell me what I've missed in terms of really, really dreadful speakers. That is it for today. Short episode. My name is Steve Guttenberg. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. And if you dig it, please, I've said it over and over again, but I'll say it one more time. Please subscribe. And when you do, hit the notification bell. It'll pop up when you hit the subscribe button. And if you don't hit that button, you won't be notified every time there's a great new episode. While you're here, check out the playlist. I have playlists for speaker reviews, tons and tons of speaker reviews, and electronics reviews, and headphone reviews, and music reviews. Lots and lots to see. That should be enough, right? But if you want more, I got more. You can follow me on Twitter at AudiophiliacMan, on Instagram at steve.guttenberg, and best of all on Patreon at patreon.com/audiophiliac. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back here again very, very soon.